Morning. We are live for Sonoma. Finally got all my content up this morning for this race. A little bit more delayed than usual, but I had some stuff going on. Give people some time to get in here. So we can start breaking down this Toyota Save Mart 350 slate. It is, with the way pricing structure is, with the way the qualifying ended up, this is going to be it's going to be a fun one to make lineups for. It's, there's a lot of ways you can go here. And I know where my projections like to go. It's more of a central build, as opposed to, a more top heavy build, but I mean, there's still some great value up top. Truex starting 21st, Byron starting, 6th, and Larson starting 5th. Larson's obviously the favorite to win this race according to sports books, but Reddick's up there, Chase Elliott's up there. They're both priced nicely. Ty Gibbs looked strong. I really like AJ Allmendinger today. McDowell, you can never count out. We got Busher, who's just a top 10 machine at road courses. They're all in this mid 8,000 range. You got Cindric starting 28th. Obviously the Penske cars, Logano and Blaney looked fine in qualifying, obviously, and there's no reason to think Cindric can't move up from there. You got Kyle Busch starting back in 29th at 7,700. Lots of ways to go here. Lots of ways to go. And then the biggest, wrench thrown into everything is Kyle Busch qualifying. Well, not Kyle Busch, but I mean, that's part of it. Kyle Busch qualifying back in 29th. We got Cindric in 28th, Keselowski 35th. If there's going to be any attrition, these guys are just going to move up, and place differential is going to be so important with this race. 110 laps. We're not looking at a ton of laps. We're not looking at a ton of dominator points. So, as far as laps led and fastest laps, those numbers are down. So it brings up the importance of place differential and finishing position, which means you have to have exposure to these guys. You got to have exposure to these guys starting in the back because they're more likely to move up, whether it's strategy, whether it's attrition or whatever. They're not just going to run back in the 30s all day. We got a couple of supercars guys coming. Will Brown, Cam Waters starting 24th, 31st. Brown actually looked pretty solid in practice. He was third fastest. Qualified 24th. He said, I believe he said his power steering was off. They were losing power, which would be a reason why he qualified back. I haven't seen anything else this morning as far as whether they fixed that, whether they changed anything. I think Gluck tweeted something about it. If not, it was Pockrass. See if I can find that real quick. They say so. Pockrass said Larson only replaced the wrap on the left side of his car from that damage. He will not have to go to the rear, so no issues there. Yeah, Pockrass tweeted, Will Brown was third in Cup practice for his RCR debut, but a possible ECU issue hurt him in qualifying. The team will diagnose the issue to determine if the unit needs to be changed, and if it would drop him to the rear. So we're still waiting on that. Obviously hard to, and it's hard to handicap those guys anyway because it's their first Cup start. We haven't, obviously what SVG did last year at the Chicago Street Course was awesome, getting the win. Will those guys be able to do it? It's an RCR car and a Roush Fenway Keselowski racing car, which the RFK cars just don't have speed, did not have speed in qualifying, definitely not in qualifying. Busher is, I was expecting a good week out of Busher. I'll say that. And, him qualifying back in 26, definitely, I mean, place differential potential is there, but do you trust him because they haven't been able to find any speed in that car? But he always just finds speed, and he's definitely not the best qualifier on road courses. He's if you look at his recent races on this track type, I think 4 of the last 7, Buescher has started 20th or worst, and he's finished top 8 in all of them. Like, he just gets it done throughout the race. But throwing in, another wrench into everything is the new pavement on Sonoma. Some drivers are saying that this is a completely different track. It was already hard to pass before the repave, and now when you add a repave in, it's likely going to be even more difficult to pass. Obviously, speeds are up, but so is grip, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to pass, or it should be. And how much does that affect the track history that we look at this weekend for Sonoma itself? So there's a lot of variables in this race. Not to mention, we have Logano on the pole, Blaney starting third. How long are they going to be able to stay up there? And Logano, I think that's the first question that DFS players are going to ask themselves. Just starting to build for the slate is what to do with Logano, because yeah, exactly. Everyone's so close in time, which means it's very, very hard to pass. Yeah, it's going to be super hard to pass today. It is. We've seen this car on road courses. They've effectively ruined road course racing with this car. And it's going to be difficult to pass. You're going to have to do it either on strategy or really set people up, which, makes me want to build lineups that are starting further front. Like, obviously you need to have the place differential plays in there, but I can build a lineup that I like that only has 1 or 2 place differential plays in it, and I still feel really, really confident about it. So that's kind of where we're at with this slate. Obviously Logano's in the best position to start the race, but he's got Reddick starting second. He's got Chase Elliott starting fourth. Blaney's up there, his teammate. So you have to wonder, how much Logano is going to lead this race. And I think that's the first question when it comes to the slate of how you build a lineup is do you include the pole sitter? Because we saw it last week at Gateway. The biggest question was, what the hell do you do with McDowell? And what did McDowell do? Looked great the first stage, looked awesome. Then Christopher Bell passed him, and McDowell's day went to absolute shit, ruined a ton of DFS lineups. But if he would have just ran top 10 and led those first 40 laps, he would have got there. And that's exactly how I could see Logano getting there today. If he leads the first stage, if he leads, how many laps is the first stage? I forget. If he gets out there and can't get past and the first stage runs green, okay, and he leads 25 laps or 20, whatever, depending on when everybody pits or if Logano pits or whatever. But you got to remember, Logano essentially needs a win now. With Cindric getting the win, locking himself in the playoffs last week, Logano needs to win. Like, he can't be points racing anymore. I think he needs to go for the wins. So he's going to stay on that strategy of going for the win. Like, I don't think they're going to get cute. They're not going to try to stay out and get stage points. They're going to stay on the strategy to win. Whereas some guys that are already locked into playoffs could easily stay out, like someone like a Denny Hamlin comes to mind. He often does it at these road courses where he knows he's not going to win the race and he's not going to have a chance to win the race. So he stays out to try to get the stage point. We saw it at COTA. I think he stayed out both stages. Bell won the first stage at COTA, and then Suarez was another one that did it. So Suarez did it at COTA. He started 31st, stayed out in that first stage, finished second to Christopher Bell. I remember this decently well because I had bets on both Suarez and Hamlin to win the stages, to win stage 1 at COTA. And I stupidly didn't bet stage 2. But Suarez finished second, and then Denny Hamlin pulled that strategy in stage 2, and he won stage 2. So we could see this. We're going to see this stuff come into play where there's guys that are locked into the playoffs that know they can't win this race that are going to stay out. And then depending on if a caution comes out or what happens with the rest of the race, that could change everything as well. But overall, I think, like, we know who's good at road courses. We know who's fast here. We know who's going to be strong. And the guys that start up front, there's not many guys that aren't starting up front that shouldn't stay up there. So like I said, like, this $8,000 range, I like it. I really like the $8,000 range. So, like, I'm a big fan of Allmendinger today. I think he's going to have a really good race. I think he's going to be a top 5 contender. He's starting 11th. That gives you some place differential upside. Obviously, Ty Gibbs is right above him. Ty Gibbs kind of has the name, but Ty Gibbs has struggled at Sonoma in the past. Obviously, he's turned into a solid top 5 threat. I like both these guys. Both Gibbs and Allmendinger should be really good today. Buscher's there. I think McDowell has top 10 potential. Like everybody in this price range is I like their potential. McDowell starting 12th. I think he has top 10 potential. Ross Chastain, best 10 lap average in practice. So it looks like he has a good car. 3 straight top 10s here at Sonoma. Let me see here. Pulling up the full speed chart. Ross Chastain, 9th fastest overall. And he's not a good qualifier. So when he does qualify well, he should be solid. Obviously, that team has a tendency to fall off during the race. But my projections Ross Chastain. They like Austin Cindric. They really like Kyle Busch. Obviously, starting 29th and just his record at road courses, Kyle Busch should be strong. So if I'm building a lineup, I'm just to get this started here. I'm gonna throw Kyle Busch on there. He's starting 29th. You need the place differential potential. I'm going to go Kyle Busch. That 8 car has been really strong on road courses in this next gen era. Even though that organization hasn't been great overall, they've been strong on road courses. So I'm all right with starting with Kyle Busch. Give me I'm going to go safe here with this first lineup, but I'm also going to throw Buscher on there. And like I said, really like Chastain. I like his price point starting 9th. He obviously has speed. Okay. Tyler Reddick, second and 10 lap average during practice, and Alex Bowman, 3rd and 10 lap average during practice. I like both those guys here. So give me Reddick, who I think can win this race. And I think if Logano doesn't lead early, I think it's going to be Reddick. That's the next obvious choice. But I think Reddick has a better car than Logano. So if Reddick can get to Logano early, get around him early, he could dominate this race. We're not focusing on dominators this week, but we also have to take into account that there are some dominator points available. So I'm all right throwing Reddick on here, even though he finishes 2nd. Larson is not going to a backup car today. They just replaced the wrap. Pakra said he's not going to a backup car. So we're good there. So give me Reddick here. Like I said, Alex Bowman, 3rd and 10 lap average. Bowman is sneakily becoming a very good road course racer, and I'm not sure everyone has figured it out yet. Alex Bowman ran 4th at COTA earlier this year. That's despite starting 17th. He was 8th at the Charlotte Roval last year, 5th at the Indy Road Course. He was 3rd at COTA. And last year, I like Alex Bowman as a tournament play today. Starting 8th, obviously starts pretty high, but I like Alex Bowman here. 7,500, it's a good price. He can get up there, potentially challenge for a top 5. Leaves you enough money here to grab Austin Cindric. And this is just FYI, this is my optimal projected lineup. Just starting here and kind of going, kind of looking at it and making some adjustments as we go. I think this is a pretty solid lineup here. I think we got the place differential plays of Cindric, Kyle Busch, Buscher, and then the potential. Reddick can win this race. Bowman can challenge top 5 as can Ross Chastain. And it's a pretty, like I said, it's a pretty centralized lineup here as far as the distribution of salary cap and salary with these drivers. You're not getting into top tier drivers, but you're getting a lot of really solid plays here. Now, if you didn't want to go Buscher, you wanted to stay off of that chalkiness, come off of Buscher here and grab Allmendinger. Like I said, I really like Allmendinger today. And if you wanted to stay with Buscher here and get Allmendinger, I don't mind taking off of Bowman, coming down to Keselowski. I do think Keselowski is going to be quite a bit better. Then he qualified, and then you could get off of Cindric and come up to Busher. But actually, give me McDowell if you wanted to fit in Will. If you believe in Will Brown this week, I like this lineup here with Will Brown in it. So you're going Reddick, Chastain, Allmendinger, Kyle Busch, Will Brown, Michael McDowell. If you believe in that speed that Brown had in practice, I don't mind this lineup at all. And I also don't mind any lineup if you like. Reddick and Chase Elliott are very close in salary and very close. I mean, they start one row away from each other. To me, they're interchangeable. I'm not stacking them. I'm not going both Reddick and Elliott. But if I'm doing a lineup with one of them, or if I'm only doing a max one of those guys in a lineup, even though I think they both can challenge for the win. I think they start a little too high to put them both in a lineup, at least like on a major scale. As far as like dominator potential, I think Reddick is a little bit better than Chase is this weekend, so I'm going to stick with that. But I like this lineup. I like Reddick, Chastain, Allmendinger, McDowell, all solid top 10 threats. Like I said, Reddick can win this race. You got the place differential play of Kyle Busch and even Brown there. If he can get up there. If you don't like Brown, come down to Keselowski. There's another place differential play for you. And I mean, yeah, obviously Cindric's there. I'm not sure. Obviously, people are going to be going a little bit more toward Kyle Busch than they are Austin Cindric, just because Cindric is $500 more. Kyle Busch starts one position further back. But there's no reason not to like Cindric this week, in my opinion, because obviously the Penske Fords have speed. Cindric has been decent here in the past. He finished fifth here in 2022. But you also have to wonder what kind of strategy they're going to take, whether they're going to try to win this race or whether they're going to try to get stage points now that they're locked into the playoffs. So just another one of those examples of it's hard to tell. But I'm going to go ahead and lock this lineup in. I'm going to go Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, AJ Allmendinger, Brown, and Michael McDowell. So again, this last one, it was Reddick, Allmendinger, McDowell, Chastain, Kyle Busch, and Brown. Now, if I wanted to get off of McDowell and I wanted to get like a Busher on here, I'm gonna switch. There's so many ways you could do this, but I'm gonna get off McDowell. I'm gonna grab Busher, and then I'm gonna go Chase Elliott. What am I at here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Busher. Okay. So again, it's one of those positions where you can switch out Reddick, and it just gives you so much more flexibility with a very similar lineup. They both have that potential to dominate and definitely win this race. Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick do. There's always that aspect of it with Kyle Busch. He's definitely frustrated. He's pissed off on a weekly basis, but we've seen it before where when he gets pissed off, he he has the potential to drive even better than he's capable of. So I'm not thinking too much about him being a head case right now. The best way to cure that is a good run, and they have that car is solid on road courses. So no, I'm all right with it. I'm all right with sticking with him. Yeah, Hocevar is always every week it seems like he's could surprise. I think I'm chances are I'm not landing up. I'm not landing on Hocevar starting 13th. He starts too high for me. Like he's one of those guys like I'd rather see him beat me than be on the side of losing because of him. I don't like him enough for him to really be much on my radar today. I'd honestly rather go Bubba Wallace, in that price range, and honestly, I'd rather go down Austin Dillon, in that price range. I think Austin Dillon, if you're looking for like a tournament play in that price range, Austin Dillon's your guy, or Noah Gragson. Both those guys very solid. Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on there. We'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, green flag is still a little under 4 hours away. So, and if he goes to the back, it's nothing. It's not huge. He's going from row 12 to row 19. Obviously, it's not the biggest. It's not an advantage by any means, but not overly concerned. A little bit of a disadvantage, but Justin Haley's another one of those, and Justin Haley's always been a good road course racer. He's one of those guys that when he was with Colleague, he finished 12th here in 2022. He was 21st here last year. And then just looking overall at road courses lately, Justin Haley has 39th at Coda, I think some kind of issue. But like he has a top 5 at Charlotte Roval. He said 21st here at Sonoma last year. Teens fit like 18th at Watkins Glen, 19th at Charlotte or Indy Road Course. Like Haley is a decent play. But again, in that price range, I'd probably want to go Austin Dillon or Gragson instead. I think that's what I really like Austin Dillon as a sleeper play at road courses. But obviously, he starts 11 spots higher than Haley. So thoughts on Truex? Like I'm surprised that he came into this week as solidly one of the favorites, and when that happens, and then the favorite goes out and qualifies 21st, typically I feel like Truex is a little not underappreciated, but maybe people aren't as excited about him as they should be. And like honestly, my projections are decently high on him, but they're not super high on Truex. 5th highest projected for me driver wise. Which obviously isn't bad. He has the potential to get up there, and do I see him as much more than a top 10 car though? No. I think maybe that this repave had him lose his edge here. I'm not sure. Ran 10th at Coda. That's about what I see. Truex ended up here today. And you even look at the last 11 road course races. He obviously had that dominating win here at Sonoma last year. That's his only top 5 in the last 14 road course races. Like we always talk about Martin Truex Jr. and how good he is at road course races. 1 top 5 in the last 14 road course races. Only 5 top 10s. So yeah, I obviously the upside's up there. It's Truex and he's starting 21st. But yeah, neither did I. Like until I was like doing a little bit more research this week, I didn't realize Truex, like the finishes have not been there for this team outside of that Sonoma win. And obviously people are going to remember a dominating performance like he had, because like they had an amazing car here last year. That's for damn sure. But I definitely don't see that dominating potential for him this weekend. Don't see that happening again. So, all right. So speaking, let's do a Truex lineup though for fun here. Okay. So we got Truex. Here's the thing you have to remember. So Truex, you're getting that place differential play there with Truex starting 21st. So I'm gonna go Truex. I'm gonna start building around him with some of these higher starting guys that I think can really do well today. So I'm gonna throw Chastain on here, and I'm just going and just seeing what I can do with this, because obviously when you bring in the highest priced driver into this into a lineup build here, with my mindset of where I want to be as a more central on the salaries, it definitely changes where you have to target. So I think we're definitely going to have to go in the $6,000 range. Give me let me see here. I'm going to throw Gregson on here just for now. We just talked about him a little bit. Give me Gregson here. It gives me an average of 83 for the rest of this lineup. I still like, man, I like Bowman a lot, but give me Allmendinger here. I was hoping, I knew it was going to be $100 off. I was hoping to get Busher there, but I'm fine with McDowell. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, obviously you can come off of Allmendinger here and grab Busher if you wanted to do that. But I like this lineup a lot. Outside, like Truex is just a question mark. So I'm gonna stick with this lineup. I'm gonna throw it in, but I'm gonna come back to it and build more off of it and see what I can do getting off of Truex and like maybe going to a Larson or something and see what kind of differences we can do there. I like that mid range so much, and I think if you throw a guy like Gregson on there, it opens up the possibilities so much more for you, and that's what I'm talking about when you what makes this fun to build for this race is that. But like I like this lineup decently, but I also don't like it because where's your race winner? You know, like I don't think Truex is winning this race. Chastain has an outside chance. Allmendinger, I think, has an outside chance, but that's it. McDowell is probably just like a solid top 10 guy. So I don't love this lineup, but I am sticking with it just to stick with it, just to have a Truex lineup in here. And like I said, it's sparking ideas for another similar build here. Yeah, you could go that way too. Yeah. So instead of Truex here, let's go Larson. If you go Larson, Allmendinger, I kind of want to get off the Kyle Busch chalk. So we'll go Larson, Allmendinger. I want to throw Chastain in there. See, even that. So if you go Larson, Allmendinger, Chastain, Gregson, it leaves you 8,350 left for the last two spots. The problem is, like, I do like that. You know, you go Cindric and McDowell. I like that quite a bit, actually. I'm sticking with that. Like I said, it gets you off Kyle Busch chalk, and gives you some solid plays here. Larson can dominate and win this race. Place differential play in Cindric. Grigson is, just like a sleeper. You're hoping to. Yeah, I do. I do think Grigson can get up. Maybe challenge for a top 10. I think he could get there. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. If that makes sense. It's one of those type of situations where. Okay, so we got Larson. We got. See, the problem is another obviously I like Reddick, I like Elliott. Man, I just don't know if I'm there on Hamlin. I probably should be. Probably should be. So if we're starting Larson Grigson, excuse me. Who's someone that could give you a ton of flexibility here that could surprise is Zane Smith. And I know, if you've listened to me and Nick for very long, we've kind of written off Zane Smith. But 19th at Coda after starting 34th. He obviously qualified pretty well here in 20th. So if we stick Larson in here, let's see what we can do with this. Okay. Yeah, Hamlin's not that great, but you have to consider him just because of he's going to play the strategy game. I can almost guarantee Denny Hamlin's going to play the strategy game of trying to get stage points. He doesn't have a car that can win this race, so that's the only way that that's all they can do. So if we go Larson, we go Buescher, Allmendinger, Chastain. It can get us to where we get McDowell or Cindric here. I was hoping to get up into that 9,000 range, maybe grab a Ty Gibbs. Obviously, or $100 short here. You wanted to get off Chastain and go to Cindric. There's so many ways you could go here. So that allows you to get Gibbs. So you got Larson, Gibbs, Allmendinger, Buescher, Cindric. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna show you the little pivots you can do here to make a very different yet similar lineup here. Let me mark this one down real quick, and I'll show you. So we got Allmendinger, Buescher, Larson, Cindric, Ty Gibbs, and Zane Smith. All right, so the last one was Larson, Ty Gibbs, Allmendinger, Buescher, Cindric, Zane. Now, coming off of Buescher and Cindric, which are the place differential plays, if you go for you go McDowell, Chastain. Now, obviously, you're taking a ton of guys in the top 10 here, but if passing is going to be difficult, This is a risky lineup. I get it, but is this also not? You could see Larson. I mean, obviously, you could see Larson getting in the top 5. You could see Gibbs getting in the top 5. He's been a top 5 threat. You could see Allmendinger getting there. McDowell with the right strategy, and Chastain has a great car. Like, you could legitimately see all those guys challenging for top 5s. And that's just, it's the fun thing with building lineups here for Sonoma. Like, obviously you need to play the place differential plays, but there's also room here to play the guys that are just in the middle, like the guys, like there's still a little bit of place differential here for Allmendinger, McDowell, and Gibbs starting 10th, 11th, and 12th, and even Chastain. So I'm going to roll with this one as well. Knock that one in. Okay. Elliott, Gibbs, Hamlin, Reddick. See, I don't know if I like stacking Elliott and Reddick. And I really don't like going 2 guys in that 6K range. You basically, with this, you need Reddick and Elliott to both lead. Could you get up here and grab? I'm just playing around with this. Of course, it's $100 short on Zane. Of course. I How's Ricky looking in practice? Probably garbage. I don't know if I'd go one or the other for sure on Reddick and Logano. But let's think about this quick. Stage 1 goes green. Logano gets out front, stays out front. Pit stops happen. Say Reddick gets the lead. And then Logano just runs top 10. That's the hard thing with Logano because he's priced at 7,300. So you don't need a ton. You just need him to lead early and then run top 10. It's pretty much all you need out of that price range. And then Reddick, he can win. I mean, you can see the scenario where it works, and that's kind of the issue with these races is there's ways that it can play out. Yes. So I'm not going to sit here and say don't play them together. Don't play Reddick and Logano. But I'd definitely limit it. I wouldn't recommend it, and I would limit how much you do it if you do it. Is probably the best way for me to put that. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Every lineup that I want to do, I'm $100 short. Day late, $100 short. Because like with this build, if I'm going Reddick, Elliott, Gibbs, I want some place differential plays in there. Oh boy. Reddick, Elliott, Gibbs, Kyle Busch, Chastain, Gregson. I know I said don't do it, but I can talk myself into anything. We'll look into this lineup next. Larson, Allmendinger, Chastain, Logano, Kez, Buescher. I mean, if you like Logano and you think he's going to stay up there and lead to get there, I like it. I like it. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. Yeah. I'm gonna lock that one in. You're off the Kyle Busch chalk, but you still have the Buescher, and you get the Keselowski. And then you're really hoping those RFK cars have speed today, because they definitely didn't yesterday. But yeah, I like that. And with Keselowski at 7,000, you really don't need him to. You need him not to wreck, is what you need. You need a little bit of attrition. You need him not to wreck, and Keselowski's going to get there at 7,000. I'm going to go ahead and put that one in, and then switch up here. So the last one was Larson, Allmendinger, Buescher, Chastain. Oops. Kez and Logano. If you drop Kez off down to Grigson, gives you $800 to play with. Oh, man. Could go Gregson Gibbs instead of Kez Chastain. I think that's a pretty decent trade-off between those two. Yeah, Keselowski to Eric Jones. Again, it's the same strategy. You know that these guys, like, neither of them are very good, but attrition is likely to happen, and as long as they're not involved in it, you cannot fully fade these. The guys starting in the back. I will say, though, Eric Jones' last 5 road course races: 32nd, 36th, 29th, 35th, 32nd. So just keep that in mind. You know, he's in a bit of a rough stretch here on road courses. You know, whereas someone like a Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has actually done, like, he's finished top 20, 7 of the last 10 road course races. But obviously, like, the speed isn't 100% there with him either. How did I do there? But that would save you even more. That'd save you even more cash coming off of Jones. I mean, Jones, that car was so bad. We haven't even talked about someone like a Christopher Bell either today. But like, I don't know. I don't think you need to dip that low this week. Obviously, the place differential potential is there, but I'm not sure you need to dip that low. Yeah. Kez needs 18th for 6x value. Value below 6,500. I mean, I like Bubba today. I think he's going to be decent. Haley can get there. I like Austin Dillon. Let me pull up his stats. Austin Dillon used to be the worst road course racer in this series, but suddenly he's turned into a decent guy on this track type. 14th at the Roval last year, Indy Road Course 16th, Sonoma 19th. He was 10th at the Charlotte Roval. The problem is he's about a mid-teens guy, and that's where he starts. If you're going with Austin Dillon, I've mentioned him a couple times here in this stream. If you're going with Austin Dillon today, chances are he's going to finish about where he starts. And that's not, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great as far as a tournament play. But if he gets on a strategy call and somehow sneaks into a top 10, that's where he's going to get you. And that's why I say I like him. It's tough with him starting 16th. I'd rather go Gregson right below him at 6,200. I think Gregson can, if he can get some track position, he can challenge today for a top 10, like for like a top 12, top 10. So as far as value there, I see the upside in a lot of these guys. I just don't know if you have to get there to build a good lineup. I don't know if you have to dip this low. You never know what the SHR guys are going to do. Josh Berry tested here, and he somehow, I think he got worse after testing here. I don't know. How do you qualify? You're one of three guys that tested here. So the three guys that tested were Chastain, Truex, and Berry. Those are the guys that had the extra track time on this new surface. Berry qualified 32nd. Truex is starting 21st, and Chastain starting 9th. Just weird. Priest, he's another one of those guys that you just can't really predict. Ryan Priest finished 23rd at COTA this year. He was another one of those that took the weird strategy in the second. But if you're digging deeper, Stenhouse, attrition can get him to the top 20. I think Zane Smith's like a deep sleeper if you want to go. We've built a couple lineups here with Zane Smith. But again, I don't know if you have to go down that low. Outright winner today. Give me so on Stacking Denny's this week, I my pick to win was Ty Gibbs. I still don't hate that. But I think Reddick takes it. I really do. I think Reddick's gonna get back on top on the road courses. Do you have a preference between Bubba McDowell or Gregson Dinger? I'd rather go Gregson Dinger. Yeah. I think Dinger might be my favorite play today. He's my biggest bet. I bet him. He was somehow even money for a top 10. And every time I make a big bet, it seems like they wreck out. So take this with a grain of salt. But I think Dinger has an awesome chance today. I think he can win this race. Yeah, man. I don't know what to do with these supercar guys. We don't have enough data on them, and my strict line of thinking with all of these guys has been that nobody really performs well in their first. I mean, it takes them a long time to get used to these cup cars. I'm not convinced that these guys are going to come. I think Will Brown is going to be overrated just because of his practice time. But at the same time, I did build a couple lineups with him in it on the stream already because of the potential that he backs up that practice time. So I recognize the fact that he could have speed. I don't like SVG kind of just threw everything through a loop, but it was also a Chicago street course in the rain that nobody had ever raced at before, and it's a swaying opinion. I think these guys are going to be overvalued by DFS players, and definitely by sportsbooks. There were some stupid lines on these guys this week. Hey Sean, how you doing? Gibbs, Dinger, Busher. Yeah, I like this already. Just looking at it. Yep. Gibbs, Dinger, Busher. Yep. Yep. If you didn't want to go Cindric here, you could go Chastain, but definitely like that a lot. I'm going to go ahead and lock that one in. That's my first Bowman lineup of this stream. After I talked about how much I like Bowman this week, and I haven't really built one. I'm going to do that one with Chastain instead of Cindric as well. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been able to get on here. I told myself I was going to get here and do lives a lot more this year, and kind of gotten away from it a little bit, but hopefully I can keep doing them every week. I enjoy them. I'm glad you guys enjoy them. Let's see here. I'll pull up Optimizer with my projections here and just pick some random ones. Okay, like I said, optimal projected. I don't even know if I put this one in. I don't think I did. Reddick, Allmendinger, Chastain, Cindric, Kyle Busch, Bowman, which is very similar, Sean, to what you just put. I'm gonna go ahead and lock this one in because I'm gonna look like an idiot if I don't lock in my optimal projected when doing these damn things. Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman. Okay. Here's an interesting one. Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman. 2 place differential plays in Cindric and Busch. And then you got the back half of the top 10, and then you're hoping that Chase can dominate it. Is kind of what you're hoping with this build. That's how my mind would go going here. And then you could also go here, go 3 place differential plays of Elliott, Gibbs, Allmendinger. If we did this, instead of Gibbs, we're going to jump up and grab Christopher Bell. Boom, Gregson. Elliott, Bell, Allmendinger, Cindric, Kyle Busch, Gregson. Christopher Bell is one of those, like, Christopher Bell had probably the best car at COTA. I never fucking know what to do with Christopher Bell. But Christopher Bell probably had the best car at COTA. Starts decently for, like, I mean, 15th is a solid, it's not too far back, but it's still a place differential upside. Decently priced at 9,800. I actually, his top 10 line is sitting at plus 180 last time I checked on Fanatics. And I'm going back and forth on whether I want to hit that. My problem is I already have, like, I have Allmendinger top 10, I have Bowman top 10, I have Buescher top 10. So I have 3 top 10 bets already. Adding a 4th top 10 bet just isn't super smart because not all of them can finish top 10. So with me having those locked in, that makes it a little bit more difficult. But Allmendinger, Buescher, Gibbs, Reddick, Allmendinger, Buescher, Gibbs, Reddick, Keselowski, Gregson. That leaves you. I mean, I don't mind leaving money on the table. I messed something up here, didn't I? I read this wrong. Allmendinger, Buescher. No, I got it. Gibbs. Yeah, I'd almost I don't mind this build at all, but I'd almost go Bell over Gibbs. Gives you a little bit more place differential room. But I don't mind it. Like, I don't mind leaving money on the table for sure. I'm gonna just put both of them in, to be honest with you. All right, let's go down here a little bit more. That's funny, Sean. I'm going through like my projected lineups, and this one is number 8. That's my 8th highest projected today. All right, here's one with a. Let's do this one. It's going Reddick Elliott, Allmendinger, Chastain, Kyle Busch. And then it's grabbing Justin Haley. Sorry, just a second. Oops, shit. Got about 4 more. We haven't even done Byron. I just don't know. Like I said, this mid 8,000 range is just so, I like it so much. I like building around that. All right, here's an interesting one. Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell, Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman. F1, head over to RotoBaller.com. I believe Justin handles our F1 stuff. Check his stuff out. I do not do anything with F1. I'm double checking here to make sure he has an article up. Yeah, go over there for F1. I can't even tell you. I don't even watch F1, so I sure as hell couldn't help when it comes to that. Here I'm going to go, instead of Elliott, though, I'm going to go Larson. And then instead of Kyle Busch, go Kez. Larson, Buescher, McDowell, Chastain, Keselowski, Alex Bowman. I need more Alex Bowman lineups. Yeah, I was a little surprised. I didn't realize the F1 race started so late, like late compared to what it normally is. Because I think it starts at like 2 or something, doesn't it? Because I saw that. Yeah, I saw the F1 contest still open. All right, what if we go Larson, Reddick, Allmendinger, Chastain, We go Kyle Busch. That leaves us. Yeah, we could get Priest. Screw it. Let's roll with Ryan Priest. Why not? Reddick Larson, Kyle Busch, AJ Allmendinger, Ross Chastain, and then Ryan Priest. To me, it gives you three potential winners. Larson, Reddick, and Allmendinger can all challenge. Chastain can be a top 5. I think he has the speed to do that. Now, what if we could do this? What if we go Larson, Reddick, Allmendinger, Buescher, Zane Smith, Kyle Busch. Give me that. Give me that. Larson, Reddick, Allmendinger, Buescher, Zane Smith, Kyle Busch. I will note the only time Zane has looked decent this year is Coda, and that's kind of what I'm building it off of. Like, I'm willing to take a risk on Zane Smith every once in a while. But no, I wouldn't, like, I'm not fully recommending Zane Smith by any means. But qualified 20th, I mean, if track position is going to be important and he's been decent at road court, like I said, he was decent at Coda. I don't know. To me, I mean, it's definitely a tournament play. You're not running Zane Smith in cash, that's for damn sure. Okay, Larson, Reddick. Going back to see this. Larson, Reddick, Allmendinger, Buescher, Kyle Busch, and Zane. So, I'd rather go Reddick over. I was looking at jumping down to Chase, but what if you go Chase and Byron? It gives me a Byron lineup. I don't have one yet. So I'm just, give me that. Allmendinger, Buescher, Kyle Busch, and Zane Smith. All right. Thank you all for joining this live. Like I said, there's so many ways you can go lineups. And even, when I ran my projections through the optimizer for today's race, like typically my projections, they stick with a main type of build. I will say today's lineups were like Kyle Busch was by far and away used the most, but it was pretty spread out throughout the rest. So that's, when that happens, it definitely goes over what I'm hand building lineups to, where there's a ton of opportunities to go so many ways with this. So good luck today if you're playing DFS, and obviously if you tune into this, I assume you are. It should be. I just hope this race isn't awful. I really hope that, but you never know. I mean, we're going to have bad races during the year, and Sonoma has never been amazing. So Yeah, good luck to everybody today. Make sure if you haven't gotten into my private DraftKings contest, make sure you jump in there. I tweeted out the link. $10 to join. That's it. Come play against us. See how we do. And do not play the main GPP. That price structure is so bad. So bad. They cut it down to 333K today or this week with still 100,000 to first. Just please don't play that. Obviously, if you hit it, you're gonna have a good day, but that's just so bad. No, there will be cautions. We have the stage cautions back, so it takes out any potential strategy plays here for teams. There's not much they can do. They're all pretty much in a box unless they want to stay out and grab stage points. To which it's going to be guys that have already won this race and that have already won this year and that cannot most likely win this race. So those are the ones that would stay out at the end of the stage and try to steal a playoff point there by getting a stage win. So unfortunately, yes, the stage cautions are back on road courses. So second road course race of the year. If you have not checked out my content over at RotoBaller, make sure you check that out. Use code Jordan24. You're going to save on there. Betting article every week, algorithm predicted finishing order, DraftKings projections and picks every single race. We've been killing it on the betting cards this year. Since Phoenix up for over 40 units. Bubba or Haley or Gregson, give me Gregson. Yeah, give me Gregson. Haley's there, but I don't know. I just have this feeling about Gregson. Chastain starting 9th. I could see him start. No, I don't think he will. Maybe. I don't know. I think he has a car that can finish top 5, but I think he needs to stay on the strategy to try to win this if they have that good of a car. You lose so much track position staying out for stage points because then you got to come pit and he's not locked in yet. He doesn't have a win. So that's why I don't think he will. But yeah, get in my private contest, guys. Tweeted out the link at Fan Racing Online. And good luck this weekend at Sonoma. I'll try to keep these going every week. Next week we got Iowa, so another race where there's a bunch of question marks. But good luck today. And I don't even remember. I think I have an outright bet on Reddick, maybe. I don't even know. No, go AJ Allmendinger. AJ Allmendinger gets a top 10 finish. I'm having a good day. So good luck, everybody. See you next week.